Hello, everybody. Joshua Gillow here, your host. This week, we're going to be talking about how to get out of debt. How to get out of debt if you're heavy in debt and you have a lot of bills against you and you just can't seem to get out. I brought a guest on here who is a specialist in this category. His name is Tyler Waters. He's a financial advisor on steroids. He used to be a law enforcement officer. Now he's getting into helping people get out of debt and to create long-term wealth for their family, not just this generation, but also next generation as well. So if that's intriguing to you, keep on listening. Hello, and welcome to Outer Spaces, a podcast dedicated to empowering designers and contractors in the outdoor living space. Through this show, I hope to create a powerful resource for you, someone who is trying to grow their company but might not have all the tools and processes to do so. On Outer Spaces, we're passionate about breaking the chains of small mindsets and helping contractors just like you take control of their businesses and their lives. My name is Joshua Gillow, and through my 25 years of dirt under the nails experience, I look forward to sharing tips, strategies, and other contractor success stories here on the Outer Spaces podcast. Now, let's get on with the show. So guys, welcome to the show here. Today we have Tyler Waters on the show. He's a police officer. He's also a financial advisor on steroids. That's why he's on the show today. And a father of three. And I want to go deeper with Tyler into what it takes to get out of the hole, like get out of the debt, get out of just kind of living day to day and figure out how you can actually lay out a plan that you can get out of debt and start living the life you've always dreamed. So I wanted to have him on the show today. And so welcome, Tyler.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to be here. I mean, this is awesome. What you guys are doing is awesome. You guys are awesome, right? Just individually, but
likewise, man.
This is cool. I'm excited.
No, absolutely, dude. And thank you for all your service you've done for everybody and protecting and all that good stuff. I know it's not easy.
Yeah. I mean, somebody's got to do it, right?
Anyway, so just for the listeners, we back up our story here a little bit, how we all met. And Zach, Tyler and I, we all met back Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
So
2018.
Yeah.
I believe it was 2018.
I think you got accepted to the show and then you came to our gym to train like a couple of weeks beforehand.
I was looking for a place that I could go and try some things because I had never tried anything. I got on the show with zero credibility as far as ninja capabilities. But I spoke with a woman in Honesdale, which is up my way, and I was working in that area at the time, who had some ninja interest. And we had spoken a little bit. And then she told me about the place in Broadheadsville, about Pocono Ninja's gym setup. Mm-hmm. And then I reached out to him, maybe directly. Maybe I just called the gym and said, "Hey, when do you guys have an open gym time?" Yeah. And it was like a Friday night, right? Something like that. Mm-hmm. And you were both there. Yeah. And that was obviously the first time we had ever seen each other. Yeah. But I was already accepted to the show at that point.
You were.
Yeah. What made you want to try out for it?
So funny story. I'm laying in bed with my wife, right? Lights are out. American Ninja Warrior's on. We're just watching it because we like to watch it. And I am the type of person that has unrealistic confidence in myself. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there going, I could do that. Like I could do that. I'm going, why did he do that? Right. Because that to me seems like an obvious decision and that wouldn't be the best way to attack that obstacle or whatever. Yeah. And she's like, you think you can do so many things? Like you couldn't. And I was like, no, I think I really could. Yeah. And I literally, because she was testing me, she was like, pushing my buttons. I grabbed the laptop and I was like, how do I apply? And I started filling out the application. And I realized that it's like 75 questions long. Yeah. But I just started hammering away. And then I found out, well, you need a video. So I went out in the woods behind my house and it's like, it's cold. I don't know what month it is, but it's cold out. There's snow on the ground. So I stripped down to just a pair of shorts and I start running in front of my phone camera in just my shorts in the snow. And I'm like yelling at the camera, trying to make my application video. Yeah. And then I came down to the Broadheadsville gym and put a couple of clips together, right? Minor stuff, warped wall, stuff like that. And I incorporated that with a couple of clips from CrossFit because that was pretty much the only thing that was relevant at all to my ninja training was CrossFit. Mm-hmm. Doing a lot of pull-ups, doing a lot of bar stuff. Definitely. And I think they said I was like the second or third call for the Philadelphia region. Mm-hmm. And I was like, whoa, like this number called me and they're like, hey, this is Pete, I think his name was Peter from, American Ninja Warrior. And, we're interested in having you on the show. I was like, get out of here.
Yeah.
This isn't really happening, is it?
It's insane. I
told my wife, she was like, she didn't believe me.
Yeah.
And you were naturally just so good at it. You walked in the gym and you could do 11, 12 foot lache right off the bat.
Yeah.
You bent the damn bar. I'll never forget that.
Well, here's
like, who is this fucking guy?
Yeah.
I honestly believe it doesn't matter what venue you're talking about. You've got to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you can, that puts you so far ahead of the competition.
Yeah.
When I went into CrossFit for my first time ever, I did very little research. Like, this looks like something that I would like to do. Looks like it's a lot of athleticism involved, but it's exercise. It looks, like some kind of good mix of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And I went to the instructor who was actually one of the owners. And I was like, hey, can I try a ring muscle up? And they were like, no. And I'm like, they're like, we have very strict standards on trying to keep people from getting hurt. And that's not something that people just walk into the gym and do. And I was like, okay, but can I try one?
Yeah.
Just one. I was like, you show me what I should do first. Cause I already watched a couple YouTube videos, but if you could just give me a pointer or two and just let me try one. And he kind of looked at me and was like, okay. Right. He was like, all right. And I think he expected me to embarrass myself. And, he goes over, he gives me a pointer or two, and I get up on the rings and I'm like, okay. And I'm getting a little swing and I missed the first one. And I was like, wait, one more. You got to give me one more try. So he gives me another try and I got it. And he's like, who are you? And I was like, I just a guy that thinks I can do anything.
Yeah.
Right. That's it. And other things like handstand walking is something that you do in CrossFit occasionally. You walk, distances, 10 feet, 20 feet, 50 feet. And where I'm different than most of the other people in the gym isn't because I'm stronger than them. It's not because I'm faster than them or more athletic than them, but I'll try anything.
Yeah.
So when they were like, hey, handstand walks. Well, if you can't handstand walk, you're going to do a handstand hold against the wall. Well, I didn't even think about going to the wall. I was like, I'm walking, right? I don't know if I'm going to make it or not, but I'm going. So I just started doing it.
Where do you think that comes from? Like childhood, military? What is it?
I can't remember not having that mindset.
Yeah.
From a very, very young age, whatever it was. Like, I loved to be physically challenged by anybody.
Right.
And basketball was my thing, right? Very early on.
Okay.
I wanted to play everybody, right? One-on-one. Didn't matter. I didn't care if you were 35 years old and 250 pounds and I was 12. I was going to take you, right? Didn't matter. That's just what I thought.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, listen, he might be big and strong, but he can't shoot like I can.
Yeah.
And as long as I have the ball, then that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Right? If he doesn't get it, then the game's over.
True.
Yeah.
So when I was really young, when I was, 12, 15, 17, it was a very borderline arrogance and I definitely turned some people off. I think I've just mutated that same mindset into unreasonable confidence where I try to cut the arrogant icing off of it.
Got it. That makes sense.
You know what I mean? Because I understand, self-aware. I understand that it can be off-putting to be like that.
I remember you coming into the gym that night and after you bent the bar and I'm just looking at Zach, I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And he's going to the show. I'm like, this is going to be one hell of a run.
Yeah.
Because he's like, yeah, I'll do it. And he just does.
You did pretty well too. You made it past the first round.
I made it. I missed. I was so upset. I missed going to Vegas by like 2.5 seconds because those lightning bolts. You remember the lightning bolts?
Yeah,
it's that free bar that, you had to hop over and set it down and then hop across. And the first night I made it to that obstacle, like 9th or 10th fastest in the field, which is what got me to the city final.
Yeah.
And then on the second night, I hit the bow ties way too hot. I lachetted into the second bow tie and almost hit it with like my crotch.
Oh yeah.
And I couldn't get out of it right away. So it took 2 or 3 extra swings to get off that obstacle.
Yeah.
And that crushed my time. And had I done my first run, the second showing, I would have made it to Vegas.
Dang.
Also, in hindsight, if I had known what a cross grip was,
oh, you didn't do that?
No, I did a straight grip, which is why the bar rolled on me both times.
Yeah.
But had I known what that was, I still to this day think I couldn't beat that obstacle.
Yeah. I remember a little bit from the show when you were there. You were just so pumped up, like before your run. I remember.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. Like
you were like screaming to yourself, like everything.
Like, how many guys get to go on American Ninja Warrior?
Yeah.
Right? Like somebody somewhere along the way decided that they wanted me to be on the show. I was like, that's awesome.
For sure.
Right? Like that's crazy.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, all right, obviously Ninja Warrior, we can go on for days talking about Ninja.
Yeah.
Obviously a police officer and you get to see all kinds of crazy stuff. How long have you been a police officer?
It'll be 10 years this June. And in the midst of that, I was in the National Guard for 8 years also. So I have the Army police thing is all commingled together and it's all generally the same time frame. So, that came from me ditching my athletic desires for what I thought was a practical decision. Because when I went to college, I was an athletic training major. And my tail end of my sophomore year, I changed tracks to criminal justice. Hindsight, I would not have done either. But somebody decided to fill me in on what my life would look like as an athletic trainer, which is most likely going to be high school or maybe small level college. And it's nights and weekends. Yeah. Nobody plays games during the day, right? Unless it's football, which is on the weekend. So it's not a highly profitable profession, right? If you're a high school athletic trainer, you're probably making like $30,000 a year.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So to have a family and to give them things and to have options and to give them the life that I want to give them wasn't really feasible on that salary. Yeah. And to give them any time would have been unreasonable because they're going to be at school all day. I'm going to be home all day. And then as soon as they come from home from school, I have to go to school to tape ankles and do whatever it is. Yep. So I switched to criminal justice because of the lack of guidance. It was just easy. Yeah. And I had some friends that were doing it. And I had an idea that I wanted to go to the military after school. For a couple of reasons to help pay off my debt, but to go experience something and get some more of that physical challenge that I liked so much. And had no idea what I was going to do though. Prior to meeting my wife, I had a small plan of just being a military guy. But once I met my wife, which was my 5th year of school, I met her probably the tail end of my 4th year. And then once we got pretty serious, I decided that I didn't want to leave her forever, right? And just go be a military guy. So I had to kind of hybrid the plans and go National Guard, which allowed me to be home, but still do it. And then I started working right out of college at a federal prison, which is up also in Wayne County. Interesting, to say the least. Maximum security penitentiary. A lot of really great guys in there. You know what I mean? As far as the employees, like a lot of really awesome guys that work in there. But to be in there for 8 hours a day, for 5 days a week, for decades is a lot.
It's got to do something to your head, man.
God bless those guys. Because I don't think I could do it. I don't think mentally I could handle this is it. Yeah. Right. Because mathematically, 25 years there is 8 years in jail. Right. Just because a third of your day is spent there. Yeah. So a third of your career is actually inside. So 8 years, 8+ years of you being in prison. Right. Regardless of whether or not you're in the cell or out of the cell.
You can leave. You're still there.
You're in there, right? That's your life for 8 hours a day. And it was just not something that I could see myself sticking with long term. Yeah. So then I just started applying for places like the job that I have now with the police force, and I got one. Yeah. And I got out. Yeah. And now I breathe fresh air. Yeah. Which is nice.
Yeah. Deal with the crazies on the outside.
Yeah. A little different, right? Yeah. You know what's weird is that inmates probably respect the rules more than the public.
Really?
Yes. Because when you're in a prison, you know what the rules are. You have to know what the rules are, right? Because you're held to them by the minute, right? Yeah. Daily, every single day. When you're out in the public, you're not really held to the rules by the minute. Most of your life goes unnoticed, right? We're not everywhere. The police aren't everywhere. They can't see you when you're in your house. They aren't typically behind you when you're driving down the road. Yeah. Maybe occasionally, but not often. Less than 1% of the time, I would imagine. Right. So you can get away with some stuff. Well, when you're in prison,
you get away with anything.
You're not really getting away with a whole lot. Yeah. You might here and there, but not much. Yeah. And their freedoms, the little freedoms that they have, like getting phone time or being able to buy commissary, like ramen noodles and Ben and Jerry's, little pints, that matters to them. Yeah. Right. That's all they got. So to get that taken away is significant. So and I'm not kidding you, they are better at towing the line than most of the public.
Interesting.
They have to be.
Yeah. It makes
They don't
perfect
really have
sense.
a choice.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. All right. So you're a police officer. Now you're into, now you're doing financial advisor, like I said, on steroids, because you're not just a guy telling people how to use their money, but you have a lot of options for people. And that's really what I wanted to target this podcast at, is getting into, because you can help people with an opportunity to take a look at what's going on in their financial world. And I want you to talk deeper into, the analysis that can be done and how to help people that are out there struggling. You know what I mean? Maybe they spent too much in a certain area and had a bad year, or bad, set of principles or luck that came through their life. And now they're trying to piece it back together, but have nobody to help them through that. So how do you help somebody that is struggling financially? What's like the first steps? What are some of the different ideas you can share in order to help people that are struggling?
Well, you mentioned it on the introduction. You said the word plan. That is it. If you don't have one, you're setting yourself backwards.
Yeah.
And Dumb and Dumber was on TV the other night, and I caught a piece of it. And it's the piece where Harry and Lloyd are driving in the sheepdog.
Yeah.
And Harry falls asleep and Lloyd goes the wrong way, away from Aspen.
Mm-hmm.
And he drives in the wrong direction for like 5 hours. And then Harry finally wakes up and realizes that he had been going in the wrong direction for 5 hours. And that's what like a lot of people are in their financial world, in their financial bubble. They've been driving in the wrong direction for 5 hours.
Yeah.
Well, once you realize it, now you've got a choice to make.
Yeah.
You can either keep going and figure out where that takes you, or you can reroute and still have a chance to make it to where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
That's also implying, though, that you know where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
Harry and Lloyd knew where they wanted to go. They wanted to go to Aspen.
Yep.
Where do you want to go?
Yeah.
Do you want to retire? When do you want to retire? Do you want to work till you're 80? Would you like to retire when you're 50? How much money would you like to have when that time comes? What kind of options do you want to have?
Yeah.
Do you want to just live hoping to be able to pay for the groceries and the insurance and the electric bill? Or do you want the dream that most people have, where they have a small umbrella in the sand and a little table in between the two of them, and there's a couple of drinks on there, and they're taking pictures of their feet with the water?
Yeah.
Right. That's I feel like what people picture in their head when they see retirement.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's going to be me.
Yep.
I'm going to be under the umbrella, sipping something cold, enjoying myself. Not without a plan, most likely.
Yeah.
There's a few exceptions of people that might get there without one, but it's not the majority.
Yeah. And I can see, I know I was guilty of this for most of my youth, where I just was constantly high on hopium, where I was like constantly high, just saying, if I just do this, I hope it'll happen.
Right.
And I hope if I just sell more projects, or I just make more money, then I'll be able to do this. And the problem is the same cycle happens. Like you get the money, then you spend the money, then you need the money, then you send it like an addict to cash. Right. And if you aren't putting any of that away, it took me a while to start realizing that to put, 10%, 20% away each month. And eventually that starts to stack up, and then you have some actual cash to do something with. But without it, you stay in the same cycle, to your point, and you go hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck, and then you never have the opportunity to retire or have the life you think you should have after all the hard work you've put in.
Right. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle. And one of my favorite sayings is, if you can't handle a little bit of money, how do you expect to handle a lot of money?
That's the truth.
Right.
Yeah.
If you can't save $5 out of 100, how do you expect to save 5,000 out of 100,000?
Yeah, you won't.
It probably won't happen because those are your habits. Right. So you've got to identify, what am I doing? Right. Where am I? And now we're getting into what I do for people.
Yep.
Step one is, where are we? Are we 5 hours in the wrong direction from Aspen? Right. Are we now in like Nebraska or wherever that takes you? I don't know where they were in the movie, but where are you and where are you trying to get to?
Yeah.
And just like a GPS, our tools will create the most efficient route.
Got it.
Right. Just like that. That's how we try to encourage people to think about it. It's a financial GPS.
Yeah.
Where am I? Where do I want to go? And how can I get from A to B efficiently?
But Tyler, what if I don't know where I want to go? What if I just don't want to keep doing what I'm doing, and I don't have like an Aspen destination, or I'm young and just kind of trying to figure this thing called life out? Like, how do you help people set up those kind of goals when they're either younger or less?
I'm 24, so I have no idea. I've never done any of this stuff. So like my first question is like, how do I get started? Like, what is the first step?
Well, the first step is identifying a goal. Even if you can't get super specific, even if you can't say, well, I want to have $10,000 per month in retirement income, specific 10,000, and I have a reason for it. We dive into, it's really just questions. Well, what do you think? What kind of life do you think that you want to have? Right. And we can kind of build that picture outward, because you may not have goals because maybe you never talked to anybody about it. Right. Maybe it hasn't been a thought process for you, and you never sat down with anybody, financial advisor or otherwise, that said, hey, like, when you're 60, where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself working forever because you love it? Are you going to be working because you have to? Right? Because retirement's not about having a job or not having a job. It's about having to have a job versus not having to have a job. It's about having the resources to quit if you want to. There's a lot of people that love to work. And that's awesome. And I don't know, I might be one of those people. I like to be busy and I like to help people. So if I'm doing this kind of stuff, I could see myself working at that age.
But it's having the choice.
But it's going to be when I want to work.
Yes, exactly.
It's not going to be because somebody told me that I have to be in the office at this time, at this day, and there's somebody coming and they want to talk to you. And if you call in sick, or you're going to hear about it. No, it's going to be because I want to work.
And a cool part about being 24 and being kind of woken up to this is the fact that you have time. When it comes to compounding, right? You have time. I'm 44. You know, you doing the same thing that I'm doing, you'll get a much better result over time because you have time. That's one of the biggest multipliers, right?
Oh, that's such a fantastic point, right? Because we have doubling periods in our life. This is a financial concept now. There is a rule. It's called the rule of 72. Have either of you heard of the rule of 72?
Heard of it.
Okay. So it's a mathematical equation that very simply tells us how long will it take my money to double? How long will it take $10 to turn into 20, depending on where I put it? Right. So you just take your interest rate, whatever you're getting at the bank, it's 0.000001, right? Which means never. Your money will never double, right?
Trillion years.
You might have a CD that might be 3%. Okay. Well, 3 goes into 72 24 times. So in a CD, it would take your money 24 years to double. So if you put $10,000 in there, 24 years later, it would be 20. 24 years later after that, it would be 40, right? So those are doubling periods. Well, if you can get somewhere in the neighborhood of 12%, which is not guaranteed anywhere. If anybody ever tells you, I guarantee you'll get 12%, that's a lie. Okay. Can't guarantee it, but it's a nice number because it goes into 72 evenly 6 times. Okay. So every 6 years now, your money could double. So if you had $10,000 and in 6 years it's 20, and then in 6 years it's 40, and then in 6 years it's 80, and then it's 160, and then it's 320. Those last couple doubling periods are much more significant than the first couple. Right? Because it went from 160 to 320. The first one, it went from 10 to 20. It went up by 10,000. The last one, it went up by 160,000. But it's the same 6 years. You have those years. You've got more doubling periods left in your life than he does. And that's just a fact, right? He can't go back and do it over. What he's got now is what he's got. But young people, man, if you could just do a little bit, right? If you could put yourself so far ahead of your peers when you're 30 or 35 and you start talking about these things because they become more relevant, and you look next to you and you're like, hey man, like, what have you been doing? Oh, well, I got like, a couple thousand saved. And you're like, oh, that's, now you don't even want to tell them because you've got like 150,000 saved because you've been doing it for so long. And you feel like now I don't even know if I want to bring it up because I don't want to make them feel bad. It's just time. That's
so
all
my question is why, well, I don't know if you have, but why didn't you guys do it so young?
We didn't know. Right. We didn't know. Who tells us? Nobody tells us. Now, if we want to go deep into the woods, I think that's by design. I think I've come to the realization that 100%. Most of the places that we're at in our lives as a society is because that's where they want us.
The Matrix.
Right. I mean, let's be honest. If they told everybody this information, it is without question, there would be many, many, many people in better positions financially.
Oh, no doubt.
Well, who does that benefit? It doesn't benefit the bank. It doesn't benefit the economy, really. Right? They want your money circulating. They want 97% of your paycheck every 2 weeks to go to somebody else. Because that keeps it in the flow.
Consumer society.
Keeps it in the flow. If I had $500 million in the bank which is not where I would keep it if I had $500 million, but that's not circulating in society.
Mhm.
And that's
it's like
not
frozen like
what
an ice
they
cube.
want.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard Grant Cardone talk about
A little bit.
what a house is for?
Tell us about it. Yeah.
So Grant Cardone is one of the most prolific real estate investors in the planet.
Yeah.
And he's blown up on social media. And I'm sure everybody's seen a clip of him here or there. But he was on a podcast or something somewhere. And he starts talking about why homes were made. And he's like, homes were not made for you. A home was not made for you to live in. A home was made so that the banks had a reason to loan money.
Yeah.
Because outside of your home, there aren't a ton of reasons. Starting a business is a reason, but it's very risky for the bank.
Yeah.
Well, selling a home is not risky for the bank.
Yep.
Most people are going to be there for a long time and they might miss a lot of payments. It's not going to be their home.
Yep.
So a bank is a product for a home is a product for the bank. And as long as you're in it, you're paying them money.
Yep.
And chances are when you get a little bit of equity, you're going to refinance because you need that money for somewhere else because you don't have the education to make good financial decisions.
Yeah. I could definitely see that.
Yeah. And so many people are in that space.
So what got you into this in the first place? Like what flipped the switch for you?
Somebody came to me and said, hey, I want to show you something. It was a college roommate that I had. He said, hey, I started doing this. Could you give me 30 minutes? I just want to show you what I'm doing. And very nonchalant. Hey, like maybe you could use it, maybe not. Maybe you could refer some people to me. Either way, I'd just like to show you. And I like to think that I'm a nice person. I said, sure, no problem. Can your wife be there? Yeah, no problem. So we sit down and we start going through some of these very basic concepts, the Rule 72, debt stacking, compounding interest, pay yourself first, the high cost of waiting. And it just made sense.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there looking at this information going, this makes perfect sense. But why haven't I heard it before?
Yeah.
And we very quickly decided to implement a lot of these things into our own life. And we changed our insurance program and we invested our kids' money. Like so most people have a savings account at the bank for their kids.
Yeah.
That's earning that same 0.0000001% interest, not growing at all.
Yep. Knowing
that they're not going to use it for a decade or more. Well, what could that money be doing?
Yep.
It could be growing. It could be building, but it's not. So we invested the kids' money. We changed our insurance program. I rolled over an old retirement account that was just sitting, allocated improperly, reallocated the current investment program that I had. And after the third or fourth meeting, the guy who was doing all this for us, because it wasn't my friend, he was still in training phase. Right? He was still learning the process. He looks at me, he's like, you seem to like this. I'm like, I do like this a lot. I like things that make sense. And in case you guys didn't know, I have a Rubik's Cube at my desk at work.
Okay.
And I solve it at least once a day.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
It just makes sense.
Yeah.
When you see it all come together and it's finished, it's so nice. There's people at work that will mess it up on me on purpose.
Yeah.
And then leave it on my desk and I can't look at it. I have to fix it because it doesn't make sense when it's messed up.
Yeah.
But when blue is with blue and green is with green and red is with red, it all makes sense and it's perfect. So I love when things make sense. Yeah. And math was one of my favorite subjects when I was younger because it made sense, because there was an answer and there was a reason for the answer.
And a certainty with it too. It always works the same. Yeah.
My English teacher hated me.
Yeah.
Because she'd ask me questions, or she'd ask the class questions like, what do you think the author meant? And I'd ask her questions like, where is he and what's his phone number? Yeah. Because I don't know. I didn't talk to him and I wasn't sitting next to him when he was writing this.
Yeah.
So how am I supposed to know what he meant? Like, what's the symbolism in this paragraph? Like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
It could be anything. What could we be talking about? A million things, right? I have no idea.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, you're disruptive. I'm like, but that's the truth, right? But in math, they were like, okay, well, what's the degree of this third angle of the triangle? And I'm like, okay, well, we know it has 180 total. And if this one's 90 and this one's 30, this one has to be 60.
Yeah.
There's only one answer.
Yeah.
And that I love.
Yeah.
I love when there's an answer.
Yeah. I love that. And to back to your question, Zach, when you asked about why we didn't know this as kids, or growing up.
Yeah.
First of all, to your point, in school, they don't teach you this. They'd rather teach you algebra. They'd rather teach you a bunch of weird shit that you're probably never going to use in life than teach you how to be financially secure, understand finances, how to balance a checkbook, how to invest, all of those things, because the schools, in the past and unfortunately are still focused on just pumping out workers, not pumping out people who are actually going to be able to control their lives. So that's something you have to learn either from your parents or on the street. Most don't ever get that education and they just go paycheck to paycheck, which is what I did for most of my youth. And eventually you start realizing, wait a minute here. And I started to see others that were successful putting money away, saving. Like everybody knows about saving, like don't spend all your money or don't spend more than you make and all that good stuff. But when I started hearing like a discipline, putting 10 or 20% away every single month, then you're like, all right, you're just going to put it under a mattress. All right, cool. We're going to put it under a mattress. But each year, well, up until the last couple of years, usually figure at least 3% inflation, which means your money becomes worth less of 3% every year. So if you kept it in there for a long time, the money would be worth nothing. You couldn't buy anything with it. Buying power dies. So it's like, okay, so putting it on a mattress isn't good. And then some old guy told me, he's like, dude, if your money's not growing, your wealth is not growing when you're sleeping, then you don't have any wealth. And I was like, well, how the hell when I'm sleeping, how the hell is that going to work? I'm not working. Yeah. And then I'm like, wait a minute. So there's other vehicles, different ways to invest that money works 24 hours a day when you're sleeping, and then you're out making more and it's working behind you. So it's almost like you have this entire fleet of things working behind you and growing this asset. So once I started realizing, I'm like, holy crap, that is crazy. I'm like, okay, how many of these can we do?
Yeah. Can we do an example? Like say I bring in $5,000 a month and where does it go? Where would you recommend it go?
Well, it depends. There's a lot of questions that have to be asked before I start telling you where your money's
going to go. Let's just do an example then.
How much is your housing?
Yeah, let's say $1,500.
$1,500. So now we're down to $35. What's your car payment? Essentially, the question is, what's your mandatory minimum outgoing?
Right.
So housing, car payment, student loans. Right. Do you have any personal loans? Did you take out a home equity loan? What's the mandatory minimum that we have going out? Right. Let's just say out of your 5,000, it's 2,500. It's half.
Cool. Let's do it. Yep.
Okay. So now we have other things that aren't mandatory per se, but you need them to live.
Right.
Food, gas.
Yep.
How much are we spending on those areas?
Yep. Right.
Let's say it's another $1,500. Let's say that you're married and you have a kid and food is there's a significant food bill every month. It's got to get paid.
Maybe or you just go to the store and buy food anymore.
Right. So now we're down to, what did I say? 25, 15. Now we only have $1,000 left.
Yeah.
Well, now that's all we have to make a plan with because the first 4,000 is off the table.
Right.
Can't use it. Okay. So now we need to talk about a couple of other things does your wife work? Does she bring income into the household? Because that matters. Because imagine a scenario where your wife doesn't work or your spouse in general. This could go either way, obviously, male or female. Your spouse doesn't work. Being a stay-at-home spouse is work. First of all, that's work, right? Raising kids is work, and it's a lot of work, and it's stressful, and
there's no
God bless all those people.
Yes, exactly.
But now, how important is your $5,000 a month?
Super.
It's crucial. Without it, your family has nothing.
Yep.
Because outside of being a husband and being a father and being a mentor and being a garbage man and being a landscaper because you got to cut your own grass, right? Outside of being that for your family, you're a money machine. They don't survive without your money.
Right.
So the foundation of a financial plan is, what if you're not here tomorrow? Insurance, right? We all pay for car insurance. We all pay for home insurance. We all have all these insurances that we just pay and we don't even think about it. But there's a lot of people who don't have life insurance. And it is the only one that will pay your family if you're not here.
Yeah.
Right? If your car breaks down or you smash it into a tree and you didn't have insurance, that would be tough, but you could make it out.
Right.
If your house burned down and you didn't have home insurance, that would be really difficult, but you're still here and you could battle your way out of that situation.
Right.
You could get another job. You could do all kinds of things. You could file for bankruptcy, get that debt forgiven, right? It's not a great look on your credit history, but you could do it. If you're not here, all options are off the table.
Yeah.
So how much do you need, right? Because that's the second question. Do you need it? And in that situation, you have a spouse, you have kids, you have bills that need to get paid.
Yep.
And you don't have a pile of money sitting at home, then you probably need it. Well, now how much do you need? So now we make that calculation. Because the first piece of that 1,000 that I'm going to recommend is protection. We have to protect from the worst case scenario, which is you not being here.
Right.
So let's say that's $75. Okay, now we have $925. Okay, now we look at debt. I'm going to go to debt next because having a retirement savings is great, But if you get to retirement and you have $7,000 a month coming in, but you still have $5,000 a month mandatory going out, well, you only have $2,000 a month.
Yep.
But somebody who has no debt that only has $4,000 a month coming in has $4,000 a month coming in. They're wealthier than the person with $7,000 a month coming in because they don't owe anybody any money.
Right.
See that?
Yep.
See what I mean? So now we're going to look at your debt plan, because the debt plan is an interesting beast, because it's not necessarily how much you throw at it, but it's how you throw it that matters. And this is just a tool. I put it into a tool. The tool tells me what's the most efficient way to beat this. What's the most efficient way to get up this warped wall, right? Is it a 3-step jump? Is it a 4? Are you shorter? Do you need a 4-step jump? Right. What is it?
Yeah.
And we can figure that out, because how important is it to you? Because it's all personal. Everything's personal. How important is it to you to get out of debt? And if you tell me scale of 1 to 10, it's a 10. Okay, well, I might allocate a little more there. If you're like, well, I'm kind of, sublime to debt, I just think it's going to be around forever, so I'd rather not put extra money there. Well, then we don't have to. Now, we're still going to utilize some strategies to get rid of it,
right? But
we might not allocate as much money towards it. Then we start looking at other things like saving for your kids' college or saving for retirement. Are we maxing out things like a Roth IRA, which is the single greatest tool any human being can own if they qualify for it? Because it's the only place that you can put money and grow it that the government's not going to come in and take a bunch of it, right? It's tax-free growth.
Yeah. What was that doubling thing that we talked about earlier?
So the doubling periods, the rule of 72.
Yeah.
Right. So that's just a matter of, and again, that all goes into the calculation. So we're going to estimate, essentially the tools will do it, but how many doubling periods do you have left, right? To hit your mark.
Yeah.
Because what's your
mark? Is that just like a regular savings account? Like, what is that?
Well, that's a different conversation.
Okay.
Because, a CD might get you 2.5% or 3%, and bonds might get you 5 or 6%.
So it just depends on your situation.
And certain mutual funds average, all you can go by is track record.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. And if they did, they'd be silly rich, right? They'd have all the answers, and they wouldn't need me because they'd be rich. But I am going to look at what your goals are and what your tolerance is. How much risk are you willing to take? Because I'm willing to take it all. I can go through all the ups and all the downs because I understand that this is a long-term game. This is not an overnight thing. If the market crashes tomorrow, I'm going to wake up with a smile on my face because I can now get more out of my money.
Yep.
I understand that. Not everybody does. A lot of people hear that and they think fear.
Yeah.
And they go, oh my goodness, I got to get out. The world is ending.
Yeah.
Well, listen, if the market goes to zero and every business that you've ever heard of is now out of business, how much money you have in the bank is not your greatest concern because we got big problems.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just a matter of tolerance.
Yeah.
And then we can look at different areas of, okay, well, if we invest here, this is what the 50-year track record looks like. And that kind of matches what you wanted. And this one kind of matches what this person wanted. So it's very personal.
I wanted to bump back to the debt part because, when you think of debt, there's, home debt, the debt that you have in your house, the mortgage liability that you hold. There's, car loans, there's student loans, all of those things. And then you get into the credit card side. So not all debt is the same. When you look at it like, I just want to pay my house off, but yet you've got, $20,000 worth of credit card debt at 20% versus your house might be at 5 or 6% or 3%, whatever. So it's really a matter. Could you talk more into that interest rate side and to be killing absolutely. The big animals, the big nasty debt first and working into the longer terms?
Compound interest either works for you or against you.
100%, yeah.
Right. So if you have a mortgage right now that's 3% or less, which a lot of people do, and they will hold on to that sucker, right? Nobody's getting rid of that.
I'm holding on to that thing forever.
So if you were to pay that off,
yeah.
let's say you have a 3% mortgage and you paid that off early, your maximum gain is 3%.
Yep.
That's 3% interest that you're not paying. So that's essentially a savings on your behalf.
Yep.
Well, if you have a 22% credit card, you should not be saving money. You should be paying that off because that's a 22% gain in your pocket by getting rid of that, if that makes sense. So any 7 or 8 or 9 or 12% gain that you might get by making an investment with that money will not pay you as much as getting rid of that credit card debt. And the biggest difference between a mortgage, a car loan, student loans, and credit card debt is a mortgage is a fixed debt, which means the payment stays the same for the whole 30 years.
Yep.
If you're paying $1,500 a month on day one, you're paying $1,500 a month on month 360.
Yep.
Well, credit cards are tricky because the larger your balance, the larger your minimum payment is.
Yep.
And the lesser your balance, the lesser your minimum payment is. So if you are only carrying $1,000 and they tell you you only have to pay $25 this month, you're probably not even touching the principal.
Yeah.
You're probably only paying interest.
Yep.
And it's a trick that they're playing on you to get you to maintain that balance
Yep.
because that's how they make money.
100%.
They are making 22% a month,
Yep.
which is astronomical.
It's
It's crazy.
it is. It sure is.
How much do you know about credit and like how to build credit like fast? Like any secrets with that?
I don't think there is a secret to build credit fast. And not that I'm aware of. The only trick that I think I will employ with my children to help
Right.
them build credit, because I do pay attention to credit.
Mhm.
I work alongside some people that don't believe in credit. I work alongside some people that think that you should just pay cash if you have it. If you
Yeah.
can't pay cash for it, don't buy it. And I'm not that hard in the sand. You know what I mean? I don't draw that line because I think credit can be a tool, just like anything else.
Yep.
And if you use it to your advantage, it can be very beneficial. But the only trick really that I know of to help build credit is adding an authorized user. Okay. So if I have a credit card as an adult and that credit card's been open for 15 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just say I have a Visa and I got it when I was in college to just pay for things. And I had credit cards when I was in college that I used as debit cards. Pay for the thing, pay it off. Pay for the thing, pay it off.
Yeah.
Helped me build credit very early on. But if I still had that card and I add my 15-year-old child as an authorized user to that card, my 15-year-old child now has a 15-year credit history.
Wow.
They carry the whole history of that account.
Yeah.
So that's like a little hack that a parent could use to help their children. Now, that's also assuming that the parent has good credit,
Yeah.
or at least that account has been
Yeah.
paid
Yeah.
for every month.
And you can trust your kid.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to give them a card.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to allow them to spend money on the card.
Right.
You just have to add their name
Okay.
and their social security number as an authorized user, and they will assume the history.
Okay.
So there's the hack.
True.
You don't have to let them use it.
Yeah.
You're just giving them the benefit of your behavior,
Right.
As long as it's good behavior.
as long as it's good behavior, right?
Now I heard like your credit could go up if you let it go for a couple months and then you pay the lump sum off. Like say you let it go for like 3-4 months and then you pay it off.
Well, if you let it go for 3 or 4 months and you're not on a new card that has some introductory 0% interest,
Mhm.
I wouldn't recommend that because
Right.
now you're accruing interest that you don't need.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah.
credit cards report monthly, at least monthly, and I think some of them report twice a month. And what a credit company is looking at is your what they call revolving utilization. How much of this credit that I gave you are you using every month? And they want to see it below 30. If you're below 30, they give you a green check mark. Hey, good boy or good girl. Thank you for not maxing this thing out, right?
Mhm.
Because that's slightly irresponsible.
Gotcha.
But here's the trick with revolving utilization. Some people think, I don't want to have a lot of credit cards. Having a lot of credit cards is bad. But if I have one credit card and it's got a $5,000 limit and I spend $2,000 a month because I could, groceries, gas, whatever, that could
Mhm.
easily happen, but I pay
Sure.
it off. I have a 40% revolving utilization. Well, what if I had $100,000 worth of credit? What if I had 10 credit cards and each one of them had a $10,000 limit? Well, now my $2,000 a month is 2% of revolving utilization.
Yeah.
And it looks much better,
For sure.
right? And not only does it look better, I'm telling all the creditors that I can be responsible, even if you give me a lot.
Mhm.
Just
Yep.
because you give me a lot doesn't mean I'm just going to go start buying Bugattis and Lamborghinis, right?
Yeah.
I can handle a lot of credit.
Yeah.
And that's actually something that I've done recently is I've accumulated 6 figures of available credit that I don't use,
Yep.
but it's there. And the companies can see that it's there and they can see that I'm responsible with it.
Right. Now, do you want to have a high credit limit? Is that a perk?
For the reason that I just said, it could be.
Yeah.
There's other reasons, obviously, like what are you looking to do?
Right.
Is there a way that you could leverage that to help you financially?
For sure.
Now there's obviously risk involved, right? So you have to be very careful about doing that.
Yeah.
But there's all kinds of things that you could do with credit cards. And one thing is like travel hacking. If you open a credit card today and spend $3,000 in the next 90 days, they're going to give you 70,000 bonus points, and you can use those to travel. And that's really cool because you were going to spend the $3,000 anyway. Right. So why not get the points?
Yep.
Well, guess what? 90 days from now, I could open another one and get what? Another bonus for spending another $3,000 in the next 90 days.
Yep.
And I could hypothetically do that forever. And my wife and I, our 10-year anniversary is this June, and we're going to St. Lucia. And I paid for our round trip flights to St. Lucia and back with credit card points.
Yep.
Didn't pay $1. I'm sorry. I paid taxes and fees, which was like $15. But round trip flights to St. Lucia and back with credit card points.
Wow.
Yep.
But you have to be smart. If you are not the disciplined type of person that can look at that as a tool and not a, party card, you should do it.
Yeah.
If you can't, then you should not do it.
Right.
There's so many ways to do that. I mean, we paid for almost half of our trip to New Zealand with the family for a month,
right?
With points, and not just from that, because a lot of credit cards will give you these, either points or whatever. You pick up miles, and with businesses, you rack them up pretty quick, right? If you run everything through, but the secret is to never pay any kind of interest,
right?
So you have to pay it off every single month. You just run it through as a filter.
Exactly.
As a filter. We're going to Iceland this summer. The entire trip is paid for by points.
Wow.
So we don't have $1 out of pocket for this. And we just run it. Again, it's discipline. You must not ever pay interest or it doesn't work. Because if you get $10,000 worth of benefit, but you paid $8,000 in interest over that time, you really only got $2,000 in benefit.
But Josh, what does this come back to? You're going into that with a plan.
Of course.
I have a plan. Before I do anything,
run it. Yeah.
I'm going to spend the $3,000. I'm going to get the bonus points. I'm going to use them for this purpose, and I am not going to be. That is a plan.
Yeah.
Even though it's a very basic one, it's a plan, and it can be very effective.
100%.
Plans don't have to be super elaborate.
Yep.
They can be very simple.
Yep. No, I love that. I love it, dude. Any other questions for Tyler?
Oh, I'm sure we do. I thought you were going to go next, though.
So, as far as credit cards go, though, there's business credit and then there's personal credit. You don't necessarily have to run a business to be available to get business credit. Have you ever sold anything on Facebook Marketplace?
Yeah. I think so.
You're involved in e-commerce.
Right.
You could potentially get business credit for that. Now, what are you going to use your business credit for? I don't know. But you could get the card and you can get the bonus.
Right.
And then you can use it for your personal gain, right? There's all kinds of things you can do. The biggest credit hack going on the planet is e-commerce, because you could hypothetically start an e-commerce store. You could get business credit. You could buy all of your products with that card and then sell them for a 15, 20, 25% gain. You got to pay your platform. You got to do all that stuff and then immediately pay it off every month.
Yeah.
So imagine if you did that with $10 or $15 or $20,000 every month. Now you're getting 10 or 15 or 20,000 points every month just for operating your e-commerce store.
For sure.
So imagine having 240,000 points a year. You could go places.
We sure can.
And it wouldn't hurt you.
Yep. That goes pretty quick and it adds up pretty quick. And I know we've been using cards. My wife and I have been using cards in our businesses that are 2 points for every $1 spent. Right on everything. Yeah. So they adds really quick. Yeah. And then it's an amazing thing that someone told us years ago. We jumped into it, and then our personal cards tie into our business cards. So all those points pull together, and then within a short amount of time, you've got 1 million points, and you're like, holy crap! Like now we can go places.
Now, how deep have you gone?
Meaning,
are you using transfer partners, or are you using the American Express portal, or are you using the Chase portal?
Yeah. So going through the when we then do the actual acquisition of whatever we're going to buy,
you're buying the flights or you're paying for the hotel room,
and then it does the redeeming it through the system itself.
So there's another level to this.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm here to listen.
So your credit card points are always more valuable if you transfer them to the partner. So if I'm going on a trip and I want to fly JetBlue is a partner of Chase.
Okay.
And this has happened. This is real experience. This is not me just hypotheticaling you to death.
Yeah.
I looked at the cost of the flight through the Chase portal, and it was say 115,000 points for the two tickets round trip.
Yeah.
But if I created a JetBlue account and paid through JetBlue's website with JetBlue points, it was 88,000 points. So I just saved myself 30,000 points just by transferring them from Chase to JetBlue and buying them over there.
So you have to make sure that the partners work together.
Every credit card has partners, and you can see what they are. All you have to do is log in, and you can go to travel partners, and it'll tell you, and it'll give you all the airlines, and it'll give you all the hotels, and it'll give you all the whoever.
Yeah. And
a lot of times, if you catch it right, there will be transfer bonuses. So you might be able to transfer 2 points for one, right? And that all that is a simple change from, am I going to stay at a Hilton or am I going to stay at a Marriott?
Yeah.
Because they might both be partners. Well, if I have to pay for the Hilton and it's 200,000 points, but I could transfer 2 for 1 to Marriott and it's 2 miles down the street, or a lot of times they're on the opposite corner.
Yeah.
Well, why not stay at Marriott? Because I can get it for half the price.
Like that.
You know what I mean? So there's levels for sure.
Yeah. I've got the American Airlines card as well for business. And it's great because I think it's 2 points per, or at least 1.5 per, and it goes toward, status and all that too. So you can do it by actual, connections legs by flying, or just by, moving monies through each month, which is nice. And, but there's just so many benefits. But the secret to all of this, guys listening out there and girls listening, is to never pay interest. If you can't pay it off every single month, don't even try this.
If you don't have a purpose for what you're doing, don't do it.
You don't have a plan.
If you don't already know what you're going to do with it, don't do it. Because there's an additional level to the credit card point game is business cards at Staples. A lot of business credit cards will give you extra points for shopping at Staples because the only thing you can buy at Staples is business supplies.
Yeah.
What else could you buy at Staples? Not besides maybe the candy bar that's by the register. Staples will sell gift cards, right? MasterCard gift cards, whatever. That's a Staples purchase. And they will do 5x points at Staples. And you could literally go and buy $2,000 worth of gift cards at Staples and get 5 times the points. So that's 10,000 points that you just got from Staples.
Yeah.
And all you're going to do is pay for your groceries or whatever with the gift card that you purchased.
Yeah.
Because 5 times points on the gift card is worth a lot more than 2 times points on the groceries.
Makes sense.
So you've just beat the system hypothetically. Yeah. There are people that dedicate their lives to figuring this stuff out. And I just want to preface this entire podcast with saying none of these ideas are my own. Yep. Right. I learn from people.
Of course.
All I do is listen to people smarter than me and adopt some of their stuff and soak in the experiences that they've had. Like you guys, I just want to be around people who know things. Yeah. It's so cool. I want to be the dumbest guy in every room because all that means is that I've got something to gain. I've got something to learn from whoever it is that I'm sitting with, because that's the only way we grow. Right. You've got to take pieces of everybody that you come across and find a spot to mold them in so that you could be bigger or better or more capable, or I could provide a better service to a potential client. 100%. That's what it's really about.
Definitely. What's your favorite part about doing this for people?
The impact.
Right.
Right. Because there's a lot of people that are just hopeless for good reason. We've got a system that's set up to keep them hopeless.
Yeah.
We've got a system that's set up for people to never have any light at the end of the tunnel. They think that they're just going to work until they die. And then hopefully maybe their kids will get the house, maybe, but that's assuming that it doesn't have a reverse mortgage and it's already property of the bank and it's all this stuff. It doesn't matter if you're 5 miles in the wrong direction from Aspen or 100, you can turn around.
Yeah,
you can. It might be more difficult, right? But that's okay. Life is not easy. It's never going to be easy. And especially if it's worthwhile, it's definitely not going to be easy.
Yeah.
So just because it's hard doesn't mean you can't do it. Just because you're 44 and not 24 doesn't mean you can't do it. Now, it might take a little bit more discipline. It might take a little more effort. It might take a little more income because some people just don't have it.
Yeah.
Some people's plate is full and there is no extra. Okay, well, how do we do that? That's another conversation.
Yep.
Right? And that's a conversation that I'm willing to have with people. Because guess what somebody did for me? Somebody was willing to sit me down and teach me how to do what I do.
Yeah.
And gave me another avenue to earn income for my family and change my family's life.
Yeah.
Because of what I can now do for others.
Yep.
I do that for people.
Yep.
I have the ability to invite people in if they're willing and teach them exactly how to make these plans, which is very fulfilling, especially when somebody's open and they're willing to sit down and look at it because of the impact that it can have. But that doesn't just change the client's life. That changes the financial professional's life also, because that's a service. That's, an income source for me.
Yep.
And there's no sugarcoating it. I want to give my family options.
Yep.
I want to give my family the ability to do things and see things and experience things. And a lot of those things are going to cost money.
Yep.
And if I want to give them those things, then I need to find a way to make that money, to earn that money. Yep. And what better way than helping some people with some problems that they have?
No, I agree. And, I've heard a line one time and it said, if you want to get everything you want in this world, you just have to help others do the same.
Zig Ziglar.
Yep.
That's the man right there.
Yep. So just figure out how to help enough people get what they want and you'll get what you want.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
That's it.
It's win-win.
And listen, regardless of how hard it is, nothing's that easy. If it were that easy, everybody would be doing it, right? Everybody knows that going to the gym is good for you. Exercising is good for you. Not everybody's doing it.
That's right.
It doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean that going to the gym is bad. No, everybody's not doing it because it's hard.
Yeah.
Right? But most hard things are good.
So Tyler, everything, amazing stuff you're sharing with us here. Hope a lot of the listeners are getting as much as we are from this. If somebody says, all right, Tyler, show me a way out of where I am. I'm just stuck in a hole. I don't know how to get out of this. I don't have a group of people around me that understand financials. I came up like I did in the cornfields of Pennsylvania where we just worked. We didn't think about the future. We just go hand to mouth. How do we start a process? What could you do like as a step one with them?
So our initial step is completely free, right? We don't charge money to sit down with clients and talk all these ideas out, which is another fantastic thing. Another reason why I decided to do this, because to get an hour with me to go through these questions about what do you want and where are you trying to go? And maybe if you don't know that answer, we can talk it out and maybe chisel it down a little bit to figure out at least a direction. Mm-hmm. Maybe we don't have a destination, but maybe we can get a direction.
Right.
And we can figure all that out. It doesn't cost you anything, right? None of that costs you anything. And ideally, in a perfect world, I want to make all these solutions around what you're already spending, because people are already spending money on insurance. People are already giving away too much money in their taxes every year. People are already overpaying. There's a lot of people out there that are trying to get out of debt. They're just not doing it efficiently.
Yeah.
And we can probably do it more efficiently with less money. Okay, well, that just freed something up.
Yep.
So if you open the doors and let us look inside, it can happen, and it happens often, where I can rearrange some things for you and put you way ahead of where you were headed without you spending more than you're currently spending.
That's really cool. So how do people get us started? How do people reach out to you? Like, what does that look like?
I mean, I made myself very available. All my social media accounts are public. Tyler Waters on Facebook, at Tyler.Waters with 2 S's on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
It's all public. My cell phone number is available to anybody. I do have a landing page website that we can maybe tag in the notes of the.
What is that? Do you know?
I can pull it up on my phone.
On Instagram, is it Tyler Waters or is it Tyler Waiters?
No, I changed it because I wanted people to be able to find me.
Yeah.
So there was a time in my life where I didn't want anybody to find me, and that has changed.
So
now I want people to find me. So I changed my handle a little bit to be more accurate, but I couldn't get Tyler Waters. So it's Tyler.Waters with 2 S's.
Definitely.
Got it.
But my landing page is actually, it's livemore.net. It's livemore.net/Tyler Waters. And that'll bring you to a landing page. And if you take that route, I actually have a scheduling link in there where people can literally just click. My schedule will open up. If there's an available time, they can click on it, book it. I'll get a message. They'll get a message, and I'll know that they want to have a talk.
Cool.
But I would love to help everybody. You know what I mean? Like, there's no good reason to just keep waking up every day hopeless.
Yeah.
There's somebody out there that wants to help you. I promise there's somebody that wants to help you. But if you don't present yourself as somebody who's willing to accept help, you're just not going to find it.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Even if you don't ask for it, sometimes you just have to have your ear open. And if you have your ears open enough, have you ever heard of the red car theory?
Nope.
Okay. Zach, you drove here today from your house.
Yes, sir.
How many red cars did you see?
I'm going to go with 62.
Oh, but do you know that?
No.
Okay. So that you can think of, and you're sure, how many red cars did you see?
0.
Okay. But if I told you before you left your house that I was going to give you $100 for every red car that you saw on the way here,
Yeah.
would that have changed things?
100%.
Okay. So opportunity is exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
If you wake up every day and you are not looking for opportunity, you will not see it. It could be right there.
Right.
It could be next to you at the red light. It could be right next to you parked at the CVS. It could be right in front of your face, but because you're not looking for it, you didn't see it.
Right.
They're all over. There are people willing to help you all over the place, but if you're not looking for them, you won't see them.
It's a really good point.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. I certainly appreciate you coming on here and sharing what you do. And I certainly hope a lot of listeners go and reach out to you, especially if they're struggling or even not struggling. They just want to create a plan. I know when I first started, I had no idea where I wanted to go. I was going to do the same thing my parents did and just work until I, just can't anymore.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, I said, it's just not how it's going to work. And I think there's more to life than that. When I saw people around me becoming financially free and becoming, kind of working in their own world, creating their own destiny, I said, how can I get some of that? And it was all because I started to create a plan. And I didn't have all the answers up front. I did not. When I first started out, I'm like, I don't know what I want. I just don't want to do this, right? I just don't want that, right? So that's a start,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
That's a start. How much money do you need to retire? I'm like, I don't know. I'm a pretty simple guy. Let's start with something.
Right.
And then see how that something works
Right.
and then adjust up or down. And then, because in 5 years from now, 10 years, 20 years, things are going to be different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So start somewhere, start with something.
Absolutely.
And it's made all the difference in my life. So I can say that I'm a huge fan of this kind of thinking and planning. And if it wasn't for the financial planners in my life, I wouldn't be where I am right now. So I'm very blessed and very privileged to have them in my life. So reach out to Tyler. He is the guy that's going to help you get from where you are to where you want to go. And it's all because he can help you put together a plan and then introduce you to some options that'll help protect you. So you don't have to stay up at night thinking, what am I going to do for my family if I die or if I get sick or something happens?
Yeah.
It's crazy how simple that can be handed off to somebody else.
And there's nothing wrong with getting a second opinion.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a plan and maybe you're not sure that plan is getting you where you want to go.
Yeah.
And
Or
you
as
can get a second
efficient as it
opinion.
could be, right? Maybe someone else has a faster
hey,
idea.
Maybe have somebody else take a second look at it.
Yeah.
I'm not promising you that my plan's going to be better than the one that you're on, but it's worth having a conversation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it worth just finding out?
Exactly.
Right? Because there may be a piece that you could use. Just like I said, if you're around a bunch of people that are smarter than you, you may not agree with everything that they say, but maybe there's one thing that they said that could be really useful for you.
100%.
That's the same scenario.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, Tyler.
Yeah.
This has been great. I've enjoyed myself.
This
Zach,
is
any
awesome.
last questions or comments?
No, I'm good. It was awesome.
Cool. Thank you, sir.
Amazing.
And reach out to Tyler, and he's going to help take you from where you are to where you want to go.